guys, welcome to the House of Tease, a lifestyle channel following me and Veronica, former New Yorkers, talking about our cultures, our styles, things we love, and our lives as two modern trans women navigating through our day to day, now living in Las Vegas and Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So, what is our hot topic for tonight?
So, welcome back, everyone. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So, today's topic is what are the flaws that limit me and Desiree from reaching our true potential?
Mm, that's a deep, deep one.
It is. It is. And I wanted to bring this question up because I feel like a lot of people are hindered by their own fears and limitations that
Hmm.
prevent them from being, what they feel that they can be.
Right.
And it's probably something really stupid, which we're going to get into and be like, why can't I just change this about myself? What are yours, Desiree?
I was actually thinking about this the other day in the shower, and
At the
you know,
shower.
I
Not
w-
having
you
an
know,
emotional moment in
I
the
mean,
shower.
I set up my shower to be like a spa, so it's kind of like
Hmm.
my mini spa every day. But I was thinking about when you asked me what were my childhood dreams,
Hmm.
and I reflected on that question, and I looked back and I'm like, wait, why did I do so many things and not finish them? And a lot of them had to do with my parents not pushing me or being there for me or following things with me. Like, for instance, when I was in elementary, I was big into dancing and I
Hmm.
was actually really good, and so good that our librarian, who was known to be very strict, very mean, like everyone was kind of scared of her. And
Hmm.
every time we went to library to our library moment, we were very like quiet. Um, she noticed and she went out of her way to find us like a middle school of performing arts for me and approached me, and um she wanted me to tell my parents to like, hey, you can go to this middle school, or talk to my parents to go to this middle
To
school.
go to that performing arts school.
Right, to go to this performing arts
Mhm.
school. And I didn't know what to say because she kept, first of all, she made a big scene about it. Like, we were in library, we were leaving, and she called out my name, and everyone was like, oh my God, like, why are you staying behind? And sorry, my dog is like distracting me right now. Teresa, like, stop. She's like barking. Anyways, back to
It's
the
okay,
story.
she barks in every episode. It's
I
like
know, it's like so
it's
annoying.
part of the episode, it's okay. She's a
So
mascot.
right. So she went out of her way to get this paperwork. And one day she pulled me aside when we were leaving, and everyone's like, ooh, ooh, like I'm in trouble. And I felt scared and I didn't know what was happening because, we were all scared of her. And she sat me down and she straight up asked me, do you like dancing? Do you enjoy dancing? And I was like, yes. She's like, I know you do. Well, here's this school, middle school, for performing arts that I think you should go to, and I would love to talk to your parents about it. And it kind of threw me off guard because I was like, I don't know. Like, I barely see my parents as it is. Like, when am I going to talk to them about this? So I briefly took it to my mom and talked to her about it. And of course, she said no because she would have to drive me and it would be out of her way and she didn't have time. So instead of like finding a logic way to like, hey, let's figure something out for my kid to go to this school, she automatically said, no, it's an inconvenience. And so I brought that information back to my librarian. She was very disappointed. She was very upset to the point where like I remember her telling me, well, no, I need to speak to your parents. And I was like, they're at work, like, and I kind of just brushed it off. And so whatever. I then in middle school joined band, which I became really good at as well. And so good that my teacher, my band director there wanted me to audition for a high school of performing arts. And it was kind of the same scenario where my mom was like, "No, I'm not gonna drive you. Like, there's no way that you can get there," because it was a school downtown, and we were like across town, so it was pretty far. I saw her point, but again, that was another part where my parents kind of said no to another big dream of mine,
Mhm.
and that cycle just continued. I feel throughout my life where I was like, I get good at something, and then I stop myself from taking it further to achieve it, to take it to that next step. And I think for me, it's childhood trauma in this sense. And I'm not
Mhm.
here to like blame my parents. I feel like I haven't overcame or overcome like those aspects of me as a kid now as an adult. And I'm still carrying them. Where like I'll get into something, I become really good at it, and then somehow I stop because that's what I'm known for or, like, I've been trained to, and then I move on and go to the
So why do
next.
you stop?
I don't know. I
What are you
honestly don't
thinking
know.
when you like what are you like, what what do you think that trauma created in your personality that makes you just want to stop like something that you're good at? Are you
So
stopping House of Tease?
another thing, that's what I'm
Not
saying,
that.
or me going to New York, to go to FIT where, like, it's such a prestigious school and such an honor to be accepted. Another thing that I stopped, because I thought I was gonna
Mhm.
go and design shoes, and it's always been like that. I find something, I get so good at it, and then I stop. And that's the part where I'm still trying to figure out, like, why am I doing this? And, I reflected back and the only thing I could think of is like my childhood. Maybe I haven't really like let those things go where I'm still affected by what my parents caused or like hindered me from becoming. I don't know. I think I'm still dealing with that.
Do you feel like you get to a point of that journey of whatever it is, and you feel like it starts to get too difficult or hard, so you kind of like get scared and you stop?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's another part of it where I become overwhelmed with like what might happen and I let go of it. And then I just go find something else, something
Like you
new.
would rather run away from it than
Right.
like face it
Then face it and
and
pursue it.
feel the failure.
Correct.
Is that what it
Because
is? Like,
I,
are you
I
scared of the
that
failure part?
that and also not having the support, just because like I've never had the support from my parents from everything that like as a kid that I enjoyed doing and that I was good at. I never had their support. So I think it's
Mhm.
that part too that I don't know if I would have the full support from my loved ones.
Okay, interesting.
I know,
So what do
right?
you feel like you can do to now that you're conscious of that, what are you
Mhm.
going to do in the future so that you don't do that anymore?
I'm gonna face it full on, like just how I'm facing this, I'm seeing it and knowing that this is my second chance with that, because I've never pursued anything else that I've left behind for a second time. This is the first time that I'm pursuing something that I started like years back, and this is the first time that I'm actually picking
And
it
you
up,
felt good about.
and I feel really good about it. And I felt
Yeah.
like I should have done this at the beginning. I don't know why I didn't. So I'm very proud of like what we're doing and where this is going. And I'm actually like very excited to what's to come.
Same. Same. And this definitely is like an exercise for myself too, just to be able to be consistent at something. And that's, I guess, that's my flaw
Hmm.
with myself. I am such a procrastinator when it comes to everything. I'm
Mm.
the worst. Like I almost want to like see a therapist over it because I always wait for the last minute to do things and it ends up everything just gets so overwhelming that I end up ignoring certain aspects of my life, like let it be
Mhm.
my health or my career. I will always, like, I guess, neglect it. You know
Mm,
what I mean? So, I'm very much so that person. I'm also so like, I'm not consistent. I am the most non-consistent person I've
mhm.
ever met, and I will read myself for filth with that one
Yeah,
because if I was consistent, I'd be successful right now. Meaning, there are people that have, half the talent, I feel, or aren't that great at what they
right.
do, but they're successful because they're consistent. And I'm like, I can't hate on them, even though going back to my childhood, I was always looked at as, I guess somebody like a child. I want to say prodigy. That
I
sounds
was gonna say
so
Prodigy.
pretentious. Prodigy sounds so pretentious,
No,
but
but,
I
like,
was.
aren't, like, Filipino parents, like, pushers? Like, if they see
Yes,
talent, they become
yes,
stage parents?
yes. So I was that child that had like straight A's.
Mhm,
That I actually went to a gifted school, an
mhm.
elementary school to middle school for 6 years, which was intense, by the way. Literally, we were like 10, 12 years old, and they were giving us college courses, which was like really cool. But that really developed my like artistic side. And I, I sang obviously, and that was something that was always pushed for me to do. I was like the perfect student. My brother was the one that like was like the rowdy one. He's more like the sports centric.
Mm,
He
mhm.
wasn't so great in academics. I was like the quiet, academic, artistic, musical child that just kind of did everything
Like, sing like
that
Celine
was.
sing like Celine Dion.
Yeah. So, I feel that if I was just consistent at
Mhm,
pinpointing where I want to go, because I also feel like I tend to be a jack of all trades, because I could be a lot of things, I guess, you know, if I put my mind to it, because I'm good. I tend to be good at whatever I put my mind to. So if I put my mind to
yeah,
something, I'm pretty good at it. It's
yeah,
just like what drives me to like keep going. And then I'm also one of those people that when I start something, I like want the best of everything. So like
mhm,
if I want to like get into art or something, I want like the best like art supplies. I want the best this, the best that. And then I end up doing it. And then I'm like, "Ugh, I'm over it."
ah, that
And I
was
don't do it.
nice. That was
Yeah, it's
fun
like
for 5 minutes.
I think I just don't have the attention span. And I think that was something that I should have been diagnosed with as a child. Like I literally
Mhm.
had like ADD probably. I still do
Mm,
to a degree.
yeah,
And it's just my mind is just constantly like thinking and it's racing and I'm like, what do I do? And then if I focus too much,
yeah.
I get bored and I start feeling like Groundhog Day, where like I wake up, do
Mm,
the same thing, like do this, wake up, do the same thing, do that, and then I want to change. And I'm like that with so many things in my life too, like even where I live.
yeah,
Like if I wake up and I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I'm like, I gotta move. I have to leave. Like a new apartment, a new house, a new city, a new something.
yeah,
Just I need to like constantly have change in
yeah,
my life,
mhm,
but, this is something that I'm really testing myself with being consistent at,
right,
you know?
same. Yeah.
I'm not even trying to be great.
No, 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 I struggle with the same thing. I struggle with, consistency, and also I do procrastinate, you know, where it's so crazy because we have it. We have the mindset, we have the talent, we have the ideas, and we even have the motivation, but something just stops us.
Yeah,
I'm almost thinking like, because things do happen for a reason. Maybe like our moments were then and our moments are now.
yeah. And I was also trained, and this is very Asian of me.
Mhm.
I was also raised where, like, if you're gonna do something, you can't just be good at it. You have to be the best at it.
Mm.
You know? So if
That's a lot
I
of pressure.
it's a lot of pressure, and I still put that on myself, and I have to, like I still have to, like, remind myself that you don't have to be the best. Even though in
Mm.
my head, I'm telling myself, "If you're gonna do this, you have to be the best at it. You are the best at it. You're going to be the best at it." And then I guess that pressure of wanting to be the best prevents me from even starting.
Well, yeah, it unmotivates you.
Yeah, it just scares you. It scares you, you know? I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god." Because then I keep thinking it's it's something else. Like, "Oh, it's because I need this equipment, or I need this space, or I need to lose weight, or I need to change my look, or I have to have the best clothes. I have to, like, be the, the prettiest. I have to be, like, everything." You
In other
know?
words, it has to be perfect.
It
Perfect
has to
all
be
or nothing.
perfect. If it's not
Yeah.
perfect,
Mhm.
I'm like, then it's not good enough. And
Oof.
it's I know
Yeah.
that's a horrible, like, Asian trait, 'cause our, like, our standards are, like, too much, you know? They're,
Yeah,
like,
that's
so high.
unhealthy. That's really unhealthy.
It is really unhealthy, so I have to, like, really bring myself to, like, um, a humbleness and
Mhm.
to a point of be realistic with my goals instead
Mhm.
of, like, aiming so high, because it's
Yeah.
like 'cause in my as a child, I wasn't like, "Oh, just sing and have fun." It was like sing and win a Grammy. Sing and, like sing and be the best, sing and sing the
Right.
most. Like, it was like that was my goal when I was singing, and
Yeah.
then same thing with even in my mind, I think about even just doing this podcast, I could hear that voice in me saying, "We have to have the best cameras. We have the best lighting. We have to have the best everything. It has to be the best. If it doesn't look like fucking Joe Rogan quality, then I don't want it." You know what I mean? But
Well,
I have
I
to remind myself you have to start somewhere,
exactly, and then
you know?
we're gonna reflect back on these videos and I'm like, "Oh my god, look how we looked and look how we look now."
Yeah,
We
and
have
even
to
just
just
like I always think about, like, who knows, 5 years from now, like, we might have, like, an actual studio, you know what I
right.
mean? With actual team of people helping us out, so just but you can't start there, and then
With
that's a
Ru
really, like the what is it?
with RuPaul lighting.
Right, where we look diffused in, like, every fucking scene. But I think that's one of my huge flaws is I expect to have, like, the best of everything, and
Mhm.
that's a horrible flaw to have because you can't if you had the best of everything and you're perfect when you start, where are you gonna grow?
Exactly, where do you go from there?
Yeah,
What's after perfect?
right, and then that's why I was just like, "Fuck it, let's just" if yeah, our cameras aren't the perfect, yeah, like, we don't have crystal clear images in every video, but we have to have, consistency and content and
Mhm.
speak from the heart, and I think that's what matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, because
So
it's also we're making it relatable, we're starting and for anyone out there that's wants to do the same thing or pursue the same thing and they're starting as well, they know that, they don't have to live with that pressure of everything has to be expensive, everything has to be perfect, you have to have this, you have to have that.
right,
Like you said, we have to start somewhere. And
right.
we're starting off pretty well, I may say,
True,
you know.
true. And, I was watching a couple YouTube videos of, like, really successful, like, YouTubers and podcasters and stuff like that, and one of the things they mentioned was, like, you're going to, like, start off doing one thing, and then who knows what will happen in the coming years. You might transition into something completely different that you never thought in a million years you'd be doing.
That is true.
We could be
Keyword
like,
transition.
yeah, in our minds, we're like, oh, we want to get into fashion. We want to go to fashion shows. But then who
Mhm.
knows? Like maybe 5 years from now, we'll be, rating hotels. You know what I mean? Like that's how we'll be known on our channel, Like you just have to kind of throw everything out and see
Yeah,
what sticks.
that is true. Yeah.
you know? Yeah, or like we'll notice like some of our videos will be talking about a topic, and then we notice like those are the videos that are constantly being watched, and then we start going from that, and before you
Tranny
know it,
chasers exclusive.
I know, not the tranny chaser video going viral. That is being on the
Oh my
news
god, I've heard so
about
many,
tranny
like,
chasers.
comments about that video.
What'd you
Oh my
say?
god, I love your tranny chaser video. I've gotten a few people say that they
Eh,
liked it.
well, it's true. Okay. It's true. But yeah, I definitely feel like my flaws are inconsistency,
Mhm.
and I'm a lazy bitch, period. Period. Oh my god, I can't with myself sometimes. Like I'm like, I'll
Lazy or
stop.
tired?
I think I'm lazy. I
Okay.
think a little bit of both. But honestly, people always say everybody has the same amount of hours to work with.
Yeah,
The only difference between someone who's successful and someone who isn't is that someone successful utilizes their time.
yeah.
And then I tend to like sit around. Like I'll be one of those people that, oh, in my mind I'll have like a list of things to do, and then I'll go, oh, let me just take a moment and just turn the TV on,
Okay.
watch it. Just give me 15 minutes just to like decompress. 3 hours later, my ass
Yeah,
is still watching YouTube videos. I'm like,
yeah.
how about your ass gets off the couch and you stop watching YouTube videos and start
Mhm.
making them?
Yeah.
Okay. I,
That's
I, I clock myself all the time. And
very
then if you get,
relatable.
yeah. And if you get to know me, and we become friends, I will clock you for so many things, like of your flaws, because I'm so good at clocking them with myself. Because I am my own worst critic. I kill myself over and over again about not doing X, Y, and Z. But then, if I'm become really good friends with you and I care about you and I want to see
Mhm.
you succeed, I'll start pointing out all your flaws to you. And a lot of people can't handle it. They can't. Because I'm very cut and dry. I'm very like honest.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, bitch, it's because you're a lazy bitch. And how do I know that? Because I'm a lazy bitch too.
It's like, are you
So
talking to yourself in the mirror?
I know it takes one to know one. So
Yeah.
literally, like I'm not only just yelling at you, I'm yelling at myself. Because I do the same thing and I can see it. I can see what you're doing,
Yeah.
you
No, I can
know?
totally relate to that. Like today, I had so many things to do. I only did like maybe 2 out of like the 6 things I wanted to do.
Yeah,
And I'm like, why? I'm off. I should not be thinking about anything else but myself right now. And yeah, I take too long watching TV or like laying on the couch or doing nothing.
doing nothing. And I can do nothing for a long time.
Ah, I know it's scary
Expe
how long.
I admire Phil because, I mean, he was in the military for a couple years, so he has that mentality where, like, when the alarm clock goes on, he,
Mhm.
like, jumps out of bed and goes right into his day. I'm
Oh
like,
my
I
gosh.
can't do that. I can't. I think that is such a good quality to have, like, where it's like, and you, like, get up and you're like, take a shower, get ready for your day. And I'm like, at like 6 in the morning, I'm like, wow, I can't do that. I'm
I
someone
know
who like
so many
sits on
people
my
like
phone.
that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll be awake at 5 a.m., but I'll be on my phone for 3 hours in bed, like watching YouTube videos, online shopping, just doing shit on my like stupid phone. I'm like, ugh. It's like it's a really, really bad habit.